Well, welcome back to another Ruthless Ideas podcast. Today, we talk about two pretty sweet inventions. The first one, the protein pipeline, which is a funnel from protein powder like giant jars into the small blender bottle shaker cups. I don't know if y'all work out. I kind of talked about working out last week. But the biggest problem is at the end of the protein powder, you have about maybe a scoop left that you can't get out with the scooper. It is almost impossible to get out because the way the jar is shaped, it is flat at the bottom, it goes up the sides and then goes in towards the center, then has the top where the cap sits. And so if you're going to dump it, it just gets caught on that ledge and then spreads out a ton. And then if you try to dump that into the cup, it just goes all over the place. And then you can't scoop it out either. And it is the most annoying thing. So I solved it because I figured there's a lot of people who also have the same problem. And so I solved it with something that could easily be injection molded, which is really cool because if you can injection mold anything, that's like the easiest way to do it. And so this thing could be injection molded, and one part, super simple, super easy, would be pretty cool. And then the second one is perfect buns. What this is have you ever had hot dogs and you go to grab a bun and maybe it's cut too far to one side where you like peel it off and then it's just a flappy little half-inch bun that's not even down the middle, and you can't even open it because of how like destroyed it becomes because of how awful the cut is. Or it's not even cut. Like there's so many times where I get a bun and I can't use it because of the quality of the bun. And I said, enough. That ain't gonna happen. So I designed this it'd have to be bent out of metal, but this like kind of not a contraption, but an assembly to make perfect buns every single time. So what it has is it has 12 gauge sheet on the bottom that's bent up at a 90 degrees on the side, and then it's laser cut out, and so then you have to bend this so that you bend the long size hot dog wise because you're making hot dog buns. And then on the ends, you have two flat surfaces that you'd have to bend up. Or you could just weld on with after like it's cut out of the same sheet. Either or. Then down the middle is this one would be a little interesting, but it's the inside where the hot dog sits. So it's shaped kind of like a hot dog. But it has a little handle on it that you can lift up and pull out once the bun's done being made. And then there's two pink, kind of, maybe not brackets, but clips. No, not clips. Holders. How about that? Just holders that slide perfectly over top of the whole part itself, and then it holds it so that once the bread expands, because you're going to put yeast in the product and then cook it, so it's made out of metal so you don't have to worry, and then as it expands it doesn't lose the same form because you have the pink holders there to hold it. And then the cool part is the sides, if you did separately laser cut them out, you just go 0.1 millimeters or 0.1 inch out, like further than that, and then cut the same thing again, and then you'd get this perfect size you need for the holders as well, which is super nice and kind of saves a lot of time, and like you don't waste a lot of energy or you don't waste a lot of material, which is nice. So, and we actually have a comment from Ace Knights this week. So our question is, I wonder if you could put a bunch of these side by side to make multiple buns at once. And the lid is connected to all of them. So one big top. But super cool invention. I hate hot dog buns. So, I bet you could. You might be able to use magnets, but I think the best bet would be just kind of aligning them where they fit together and just, yeah, just aligning them and just putting them all together in the same row. Another way you could do it is if the top is all one, you have on the ends two, I don't know, like not anchors, but two pieces that go down that you just align all of the other pieces with, and then it'd pretty much hold both sides so that every time you get the same number you need. And then you could add a little space into each of them where you could chamfer the sides of the perfect bun makers like towards it's the center so that you could cut all of the buns where you need it every single time. So that'd be a cool way to kind of solve that problem. But that is a great way. It's just if you're going to cook it in the oven, you'd have to do some measurements to see how it would cook and if you'd be able to get it in an oven and if it's worth connecting them all together. But definitely a possibility and definitely could be something sweet. So, thank you very much for the comment. So that's about all of the products for this week. We have 2 products next week. We actually have 4 more products this month. It's kind of a long month. But then going to February, we're going to have Futuristic February, where I'm going to design futuristic products. Yeah, I said that right. I thought I didn't, but that doesn't sound right. You know what? We're leaving it. Then where it solves a problem, but it's a little out there. It's a stretch. But I'm going to do a bunch of research and try and get it where theoretically you could make it, but for some reason it's not being made. I don't know why, but I'm going to try and do all the research, get all the information where if someone really wanted to, they could just take it, go to a scientist, get it all done, made, go to a manufacturer, make that, and then you have my product. So, kind of a cool thing where, actually, one cool thing is I had this idea for a product probably 7 years ago that I'm actually going to design and then research and figure out how I would actually make it. So it's kind of cool to be able to go take a little time travel backwards and be able to test out one of the ideas I had early on in my ideation creation, because I think it would be so cool. And I actually think I'm going to do 1 month where I go back through all the ideas and inventions I made through school and redesign them to make them actually useful. Because I had a couple cool ideas that I think might be able to make something. But we shall see how that goes. But now on to the personalized section. So, I have always had the idea of having my own water filtration system. And the more I just think about it, so hear me out. Water is always good, but there's some water that's just way better than others. Like you could go to your friend's house, their water is just so much better than yours, and you don't really know what's going on. Like, maybe it's soft water, maybe they have a water filter, but I've always wanted to just make my own water filtration system. And so I had this idea of like a kind of boiling the water, letting it evaporate, and then condensing it down, and then getting that water, like, I don't know, the finished water into another product, and then doing it again and again. And then I was like, well, that's already being done. It's called desalinization, and they only use that to get like ocean salt water into clean drinking water because the salt doesn't get evaporated. So the problem is the energy it takes for that is so much that it almost doesn't even make it worth it. And so then I was like, well, this sucks. And so then my next thought was, what if you took all of the air out and you put it in like a what's it called, a vacuum chamber, sucked all the air out and then did it? The only problem is you can't boil the water because you can't get a flame or something to heat it up that much. So, but I was wondering, if it doesn't have oxygen, would it still be water? Because that is the O of it, like H2O, oxygen. So that's the problem. But then I was like, maybe I just buy a water filtration system, a really nice one, and then figure out a way to do it like 6 times and just, I don't know, make it cool. But then, sorry, getting a little off topic here. The main goal of this is I really want to start my own water business where I create flavored waters by just putting in, say at the start you dump water in, if you just put strawberries with that as well, would it be able to take out all of the salt, all of the bad stuff from strawberries? Not that there's anything bad in strawberries, but making it just water, but then flavored a little bit. And so I think that's something I definitely want to try. And I kind of want to hear y'all's thoughts. Do you think it'd work? Also, another thought I had is with like Fiji water, they claim they get it from Fiji. But if you see this water and it's not from Fiji, it's from a well behind my house, does that affect how like profitable the water would be? Like, would people still buy it if it doesn't say from Fiji? Also, you could name your well Fiji and say it's from Fiji, but a little deceiving. But that's my little personal rant about water. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Go check out Ruthless Ideas. It's awesome. We got about 9 videos out right now for my... Actually, no. I have 13 videos out, I think. But 7 of those are long-form videos. 6 of them are shorts. So go check it out, Ruthless Ideas. I have all my social medias, Ruthless Ideas. Got a website, Ruthless Ideas. Check it out. I'd love to see some comments, concerns, questions, ideas. But thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.